Welcome to the New York Professional Spotlight. Host Roman Kirzhner sits down with successful professionals from across New York to uncover the stories, strategies, and expertise behind their achievements.
Good morning. Welcome to our show. Thank you very much. Today's our guest is highly respected professional, New York professional in finance, Domenick D'Andrea. And today he will share his experience. We will discuss his strategies, lessons, and experience that have helped him to shape his success. Welcome to the show, Domenick.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
Absolutely. Can you give us a quick snapshot of your professional career, what you're doing?
Great question. So I'm in the business of the industry almost 32 years. Actually, September will be 32 years, helping retirees, pre-retirees, business owners, and families hit their goals. You know, everybody wants to say, can I retire? Can I send my kids to college? Can I buy a home? You know, we're there to be the shoulder to lean on and get them to that goal, past that goal, whatever we can do to help them financially plan and let them see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are many talented professionals in your field. And what sets you apart from that comes naturally to you than other people find challenging, since you're doing it for 30 years?
Another great question. You know, we really try to tie the old world with the new. So I came up in the business, with yellow pads and paper. Computers were just starting, CRMs were just starting, but, so people weren't expecting anything tangible in a report. They, write it up on paper. Here's my recommendation. Boom. Now everybody wants to really understand the plan, have something to bring home, have something to look at that really shows them what they're doing. So we blend in the tech with the personal touch, because we still have to be human beings. If everything I said was, here's your tech, read it, and I didn't go through it and explain it, they're not coming away with any value. So our job is to really make sure they understand why we're doing it, how it's going to benefit them, and give them the value. Saying, okay, you know what? I can retire. I see how this is going to work. I see how my budget's going to work, and build that into the planning softwares that we use.
Yeah. Talking about technology, you mentioned that coming from Yellow Book to AI, it's a big steps forward, right? And I'm just curious if you're using AI in your career, does it help you? Does it challenge you?
Absolutely, 100%. AI is definitely not the end all be all of our career, or end all be of anybody's career, because it is what you do it. So we use AI makers on appointments because it lets us be more attentive. It's making my job better, not replaceable. If I'm able to talk to you and I'm not having to sit there and take all the notes and pay attention to everything you're saying, and if I forgot something, I'm going to miss it, or I'm going to have to re-ask it to you. It takes the notes, and now I can listen to you, be more attentive to my questions. We have AI content creating. So like every holiday, my dog is my chief rollover specialist, and holiday he posts about that holiday. But I want it to be fun, because I want people to see our human side, that we're not just there to be that stiff suit wearing old school financial planner that doesn't smile. We want to be there to help you. So there'll be a post, but I'll put a little prompt in from a dog's perspective. So I get like wolves, barks. Like one of my favorite ones that I ever did was for St. Patty's Day. And it was, come outside. If you see me running back and forth, I might be chasing that leprechaun with the pot of gold. Otherwise, you just might be able to go out there and play catch with me, and we can have some fun.
Absolutely.
And it shows our lighter side, which when people get to meet us and search us out and they see that stuff, they're already down, because they see that we're not just there to, not just there to get their money. We're there to be part of the family, be part of them.
Absolutely. And AI is obviously, it's a great tool, but like everywhere else, trust but verify. Do not trust AI 100%, because it has hallucination effects and people making judgments based on that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You have to edit.
Yeah. All right. If someone wants to become better in what you do, what kind of recommendation would you give them?
Well, the first thing I'm always going to tell is anything new habit or anything you want to do, always start slow. Like, I mean, I post on social media 5 to 7 times a day. Sorry, a week, not a day, a week. But I didn't do that when I first started. I did it 1 or 2 times a week and then built it up and built it up and built it up. So don't ever just try to dive into any goal or any objective, whether it's financial planning or being the financial planner, because you're not going to form that habit, and it's going to end up dropping by the wayside within a month or so. But if you do it slowly and build it up, that's what it works. And that's how we work with our financial planning. Sometimes we meet a client that has the assets and we're able to just build a plan. Sometimes we meet clients that they need to build the assets up. So they have to understand that saving that money on a monthly basis is eventually going to get them there. They're saying, well, I only can save $500 a month. What's that going to do for me? Well, we have to show them $500 a month at your age times 12 months times X amount of years with some reasonable growth rate. You actually could have $500,000, $1 million, whatever it might be, depending on their age. And that's when the light bulb goes off, because they realize that slow and steady will get you there, that you don't have to be rich to be rich later on in life.
Great compounding effect always works. Time and patience. and it's always about, I believe, in financial industry, absolutely challenging is that developing the trust, because everything based on trust, because client and you, and it's like any other business, but in financial, when someone trusts you with money, it means that it is true trust.
Oh, it's the biggest thing in the world.
Absolutely. And as a financial business, as a challenging business, and what the biggest challenge that you faced in your career, and what did you learn from that?
The biggest challenge is, and it's what I always try to teach my clients, is when the market's down. We all can look like geniuses when the market's up. I meet somebody, oh, I've been making money the last 10 years. Why should I make a change? And then I'm like, well, what is your plan for when the market goes down? And their face drops like, what do you mean? The market's only up the whole time I'm investing. They think that's what they're always going to get. And that's the biggest challenge, is getting sometimes that person I'm sitting down with realizing that the market will go down in their lifetime. I've witnessed it a few times. I was in the business for the tech crash. I was in the business for the housing bubble, which were the two biggest ones in my career. There's been a few other ones, but those were the two biggest ones. And I didn't have the tech to really explain things, so people didn't understand it. But now that I have some tech that can go over risk, that now clients understand risk better. They see how their plans will work. So they understand that if there is a downturn, yes, we don't want it, obviously, but they're going to be fine because they see how their assets now are correlated for a long-term plan, not just saying, okay, I'm praying it's always going to go up.
Yeah, obviously, the shining object effect always works, but it works, but it not in the best way. That I can relate to that. The people not ready for things like you just described. When things will go down south, what you will be doing, right? So what exactly you will be doing? Yeah. Great. And congratulations, actually, on things going well in your career. Now, many successful people in your career and people that you're working with really doing well financially. And like you mentioned, they want to keep the lifestyle that they have, but they don't want to work as much as they have to right now. And they obviously looking for different investment options to keep the same lifestyle. Some of them looking for like bonds, stocks, cryptocurrency, and obviously you mentioned that you already mentioned, but if you want, you can repeat it. Your thought about creating income outside of your working career. Is it important?
Well, it's very important to build a plan. It's very important to make sure that you look at your future and don't just think you can stay as is. It's the easiest thing to do is to save the money. Once you get it going, the hardest thing to do is realize how to spend the money. If you think you can go into retirement and, okay, you know what, I built up this money, I'm going to live off the interest and I'm going to be fine. Again, that works great if we're in a straight upward market. But where the problem comes in, and obviously I want to make people successful and I want them to be successful. Where the problem comes in is if we're here and you're taking income off of this and it's working great and we're getting a tick up and a tick up. So you're not really seeing your money going down. Yes, your plan works. But 120 or 30% correction, and if that lasts a year or two and you're taking money off of your assets, well, instead of it going up each year a little bit with growth, you're going down and you're going down. So even when it comes back up, you're never going to get back to that level because you're taking money out and it needs to grow even exponentially more to get there. So now you're going to not be able to recover from that. And if that happens for too long of a period of time or too many times in retirement, and that was your plan, there's a chance you could run out of money. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's guaranteed or it's definite because I'd have to sit down with an individual and look at their numbers specifically, but it's a big risk without having a plan and looking at how your assets are going to work in different markets.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the saying that I'm using. We can deal with the problem. We hate surprises, and that's exactly the effect of surprises. Comes as a surprise, and people not ready for that. Yeah, a lot of people not ready for that. All right. If someone would like to connect with you, what would be the best way to do that?
Great question. I always tell people go to our website, which is D'Andrea, Dandarh, wealthmanagement.com, because there are contacts on there, our schedules on there. You can look at our client testimonials, our philosophies, our planning strategies, our fee structures on there. So you really can get to know us before you actually talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Domenick. Thank you very much for time today and for sharing experience. And good luck to you and good luck to all of us.
Thanks. Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the New York Professional Spotlight. If you're a successful New York professional with insights to share, visit nyprofessionalspotlight.com/guest and apply to be featured on the show.